Joseph Murphy taught for decades that financial prosperity is not a matter of luck, but defined by the prevailing vibratory pattern that an individual generates in their mind. When Murphy analyzed families that dealt with prolonged monetary difficulties, he noticed a surprising and alarming pattern. These families transported, without recognizing it, an energetic pattern of limitation that continued generation after generation, like a defective recording playing non-stop the same pattern of poverty. Murphy called this phenomenon vibrational transmission. He discovered that each family possesses an emotional pattern related to economic matters, a pattern that is transmitted through behaviors, failed beliefs and emotional responses regarding financial obstacles. This inherited vibration acts like a secret system, determining not solely what amount a person can accumulate, but as well as their fundamental relationship with plenty. Murphy understood that various money-related hindrances that he noticed were not born from ineptitude or adverse luck, but solely in the transmitted frequency that someone received from the beginning of life. This discovery fully revolutionized the manner in which Murphy viewed financial transmutation. In place of guiding just profit strategies or investment strategies, Murphy concentrated on a more fundamental principle, modifying the vibrational pattern about money that every being inherited from their heritage. Murphy told remarkable examples of individuals who managed to overcome this inherited vibration, using specific methods of mental reprogramming. One of these cases focused on an entrepreneur known as Roberto, whose ancestors went through a continuous pattern of financial failure that lasted successively. His male ancestor had lost everything he possessed in a calamitous investment. His progenitor had experienced failed businesses, and Roberto, even though dedicating himself to work obsessively, encountered himself copying this same destructive cycle. Every time he achieved gathering some significant amount of money, a situation appeared inexplicably, and the subject saw everything vanish. It gave the impression that there was a hidden power harming his conscious endeavors. Murphy worked with Roberto for several months, revealing to him an essential truth that would be the foundation in all his philosophy. The hidden mind does not make a distinction between money you deserve and capital your family believes is appropriate. If in your essence resides the pattern that wealth is threatening, that growing financially is risky, that monetary stability is deceptive or misleading, then your subconscious mind will strive constantly to keep you in this frequency, because it appears to be the true reality. The subconscious psyche does not question. It only executes the roadmaps that were programmed in your mind through experiential heritage. Roberto at last comprehended that he was not slothful or inept. He was molded. Mental patterns can be reconfigured. Murphy elucidated that when you alter the vibration that prevails in your core, you transform the programming that you give to your subconscious. It is like restoring a machine that was functioning with outdated software which is defective. If the code is configured prepared to absorb merely an exact quantity of wealth, then that will be precisely what you will earn, regardless of how much sacrifice you make. Murphy attested this principle by means of deep visualization techniques that he had instituted in the course of decades. He advised his patients to consecrate 5 to 10 minutes each morning, by preference immediately upon waking, when the psyche is situated in an alpha state of openness, conjuring the image of not just the arrival of resources in their existence, but fundamentally, the inner perception of solidity, deep certainty and dignity that is associated with this flow. Murphy stated unequivocally that this perception formed the real key. It was not the capital by itself that was relevant for the evolution. It formed the energy that the person instituted concerning resources. With Roberto, Murphy started a process that he designated Ancestral Vibrational Transmutation, a practice that he had refined through numerous cases of success. Roberto would have to, for 8 weeks, commit 15 minutes every night before sleeping in a deepened meditative state. In this sacred space, Roberto should perceive in a conscious way the complete financial history of his family tree. He should imagine his grandfather experiencing the economic collapse, his father struggling with failed ventures, and all this ancestral lineage who came in his lineage keeping resembling frequencies. Then, mentally, Roberto should enunciate with authentic emotion, "I accept your history. I honor with reverence the pain you carried. I admire the trajectory you tread and the adversities you experienced. Nevertheless, now, in this sacred moment, I release this resonance of scarcity from my mind. I establish a new pattern for my family. From this moment on, in my life, movement of wealth, of prosperity and financial confidence constitute the main vibration that determines my trajectory and my reality. Murphy observed meticulously that when Roberto did this with genuine sincerity, with true emotional feeling that involved his whole being, something extraordinary began to happen in the external world. Roberto's financial situations began to reorganize subtly, but surely. An opportunity that Roberto would have previously rejected out of fear or mistrust came to be seen under a new illuminated perspective. An old client returned with a substantial project. An unexpected scholarship for his daughter appeared at the exact moment when her education was a financial concern. None of this was coincidence, Murphy explained with conviction. It was simply the natural and inevitable consequence of an altered vibration. When you change your internal vibration, the entire universe needs to reorganize itself to correspond to this new frequency you have established. People, opportunities, resources, everything begins to align differently in your life. Murphy formulated a concept that he referred to as Law of Vibrational Correspondence, an axiom that he had tested in hundreds of cases. This axiom states simply that the external circumstances always responds precisely to the dominant internal reality. If inside you there exists with genuine fear of lack of resources, then the exterior reality will present constantly experiences that confirm this terror and ratify your limiting conviction. If in your psyche prevails genuine security in your innate fullness, then the external circumstances will reveal openings that strengthen and cultivate this certainty. The most innovative point of this principle is that it operates apart from your current state or your previous experiences. A person completely indebted who alters their vibrational state to abundance will commence, over weeks, to perceive modest changes that are observable. These modifications tend to be subtle at the start, but are signalers of a genuine transmutation. An unlikely expense is bypassed inasmuch as you choose to cease making a purchase on impulse. An occasion presents itself because you lived in better mental state to interact with a key individual. Your whole body starts to pulse in a new pattern. Murphy had a special interest in the family aspect of this transformation because he had observed an extraordinary phenomenon repeatedly. When a person changes their vibration and manages to maintain this change for a sufficient period, the entire family dynamic begins to reorganize deeply. Children who were struggling financially begin to prosper unexpectedly. Parents who faced chronic difficulties find new solutions and paths. It is as if this person, by raising their own vibration, pulled the entire lineage to a new vibrational level. Murphy explained this as a principle of family resonance. When a musical instrument begins to vibrate at a specific frequency, all other nearby instruments naturally begin to vibrate at the same frequency, even without physical contact. Likewise, when you establish a vibration of prosperity within you, all those energetically linked to you naturally begin to enter into resonance with this elevated frequency you created. To trigger this alteration of frequency that was permanent and genuine, Murphy created a path structured in 3 stages that he judged completely indispensable for real transformation. The first moment is what Murphy termed conscious ancestral recognition, and he reiterated that it was impossible to proceed without fulfilling authentically this initial phase. In this pass, you must spend time honestly understanding the total economic journey of your lineage. This does not imply inculpating your ancestors or pushing them away with negative energy. It means just understanding with absolute clarity what they lived, the emotional lesions that they endured, the formattings that they created as a survival strategy in challenging periods. Murphy noted that many people strive to avoid seeing to ignore this disturbing legacy, tried to pretend it was not real, and this prejudiced irremediably the real transformation. It continues being totally impossible to let go of what you reject consciously to recognize. Murphy taught his patients to start this simple exercise, which is life-changing. In the night period, if possible, when preparing to sleep, when consciousness stays more permeable, position yourself in total silence. Breathe deeply for some moments, and internally reflect deeply on your lineage. Visualize the figures of your predecessors. Accept the adversities that they faced. Express on the mental plane with authenticity a declaration like, "I accept that you, my male ancestor, faced immeasurable losses that produced intense fear in your mind. I recognize that you, the one who begot me, instituted preservation tools that propagated ahead through generations." Murphy explained that this recognition is deeply healing on a spiritual and psychological level. By recognizing the story, you take this story out of the unconscious, where it operates silently controlling your actions, and bring it to the full light of consciousness. In this clear light, it loses the power to control you automatically. It ceases to be something that controls you like a puppet and becomes something you see with absolute clarity and can choose to transform. Murphy used to say with emphasis that nothing that remains unconscious can be truly transformed. Everything that is brought to consciousness can be worked on, can be dissolved, can be rewritten in a completely different way. This first stage should be practiced for at least 2 weeks every day with genuine emotion and complete attention. The second stage of Murphy's method is what he called declared vibrational disconnection, and he was absolutely clear about its critical importance. In this stage, after consciously recognizing the ancestral story, you must declare with authority that this vibration of limitation will no longer be the dominant force of your life. Murphy was not in favor of a vague or intellectual approach in this stage. He demanded genuine emotion, clear intention, and deep commitment, not just to the words but to real transformation. After recognition, still in your moment of silence at night, Murphy instructed his clients to place their hand over their heart and say with unshakable emotional firmness, "I completely release the vibration of scarcity that was inherited through generations. I unlink my conscious mind from every pattern of financial limitation that belonged to my ancestors. I allow my soul to be the genuine and true origin of my prosperity and abundance. From this moment, the dominant vibration I establish and maintain is that of conscious abundance, genuine confidence, and unlimited flow." Murphy elucidated that this confession works for it institutes a new force in your interior. You do not remain repudiating your lineage or your history. You remain solely expressing your legitimate privilege as a thinking being who is independent to select a distinct pattern. Murphy had observed multiple cases documented where this declaration, when executed with authentic emotive sincerity, produced a vibrational rupture so powerful and deep that observable transformations started in days following. He maintained noted examples where individuals shared intense dreams and extraordinary ones immediately after the confession, oniric experiences where their ancestors showed themselves to validate this change with silent approval and energetic approval. Although Murphy revealed himself a systematic investigator who was thorough in his general way of proceeding, he admitted that there were occurrences that escaped strictly material reason and rational logic. The third stage is the one Murphy considered absolutely the heart and soul of the entire vibrational transformation. He called it continuous vibrational re-establishment, and it was in this stage that the real work of rewriting your financial reality happened. In this stage, you not only dissolve the old problematic vibration, but actively establish a new vibration that becomes your dominant pattern. Murphy was extremely specific and precise about how to do this to achieve real results. After the declaration of disconnection, still in their deep and receptive meditative state, Murphy instructed his clients to visualize a field of golden, luminous, and living energy completely enveloping their heart, radiating to their entire body. This field is not vague or abstract. It is real, intensely felt in the body, palpable like a transforming physical presence. Murphy frequently asked his clients to describe in precise detail how this golden field felt in their physical body. Some described gentle and comforting heat. Others described deep and enveloping safety. Still others described an extraordinary sensation of expansion and freedom. While he maintained this vivid visualization and felt, Murphy instructed with firmness, "Say in your mind with genuine conviction, my preponderant frequency now becomes abundant consciousness. My physical shell vibrates integrally with monetary solidity. My subconscious mind remains fully reconditioned to receive in an ample way, to deserve fully and to maintain permanently fullness. My aura remains aligned entirely with opening, unlimited flow, and endless development. The want that was bequeathed dissolved completely definitively. The prosperity that constitutes my natural spiritual legacy establishes itself now as the eternal truth of my life. Murphy underlined indisputably that these affirmations must be uttered not superficially by habit or in a shallow way, but with genuine deep emotion, with honesty that emanates from the being, as if you were declaring the most essential teaching and essential of your entire existence. Murphy observed that this third stage is exactly where most people faced significant difficulties in the process. They managed to do the first two stages with some success, but in the third stage, the rational mind began to doubt and question. How can I say I am prosperous if I have significant debts? How can I say my vibration is abundance if my bank account tells another story of limitation? How can I declare what only my current reality denies? Murphy had a clear and transformative answer for this. He explained that the rational mind does not govern true reality. Vibration governs reality. The rational mind is merely a tool that describes retroactively what vibration has already created. If you want to change what the rational mind describes, you must first change the vibration at the root. Murphy used a potent and transformative metaphor. He said that vibration is like the root of a tree, and visible financial results are like the branches, leaves, and flowers. If you only look at the visible branches and try to change the tree by pruning the branches, you will never achieve real or lasting change. But if you change the fundamental root, the whole tree changes inevitably. Murphy advised that this terminal stage be fulfilled every day without exception for 40 days, at minimum successive. He had selected the duration of 40 days since he had identified in numerous cases that it was specifically the necessary duration for a new vibration to firm itself fully as the prevailing pattern in the core of the unconscious. The beginning of 14 days concern establishment and fixation of the new vibrational pattern. The new frequency still demonstrates itself as tenuous and inconstant. It still struggles intensely with the old vibrations that seek to remain. In the period of 15 to 28 days, something radically alters and unties itself. The new vibration gives start slowly to conquer real strength, to feel more legitimate and authentic, more essential to your deep being. Between days 29 and 40, the new vibration finally establishes itself as the predominant vibration that guides your reactions. Upon completing 40 days of regular execution and authentic practice, Murphy verified that his patients described an emotional alteration so radical that it was visible even to those outside. The dread that stagnates concerning money reduced considerably until extinguishing itself. The guilt of prospering and welcoming disappeared completely. A confidence which was quiet, genuine, and unbreakable in the coming prosperity started to arise naturally from your interior. Murphy had a particular and very effective method to help his clients maintain absolute consistency during these critical 40 days. He recommended they keep a simple and honest journal. Each night, after completing the full ritual of the 3 stages, they should briefly note what they felt and observed, not for heavy intellectual analysis, but simply to deepen the experience and root it. Murphy observed that when people recorded their experience in words, the practice became more concrete, more real, more irrefutable. He also recommended that during these 40 days of transformation, people be particularly attentive to the small signs of change that appeared. A small but significant opportunity that arose unexpectedly, an unexpected expense that was providentially avoided, a casual conversation with someone that led to an interesting and unexpected possibility. Murphy taught that vibrational change does not typically begin with spectacular and dramatic results. It begins always with small synchronicities indicating that vibration is genuinely changing at the deepest level. Murphy reiterated a fundamental point that many disregarded entirely in their execution. In this interval of 40 days of disciplined execution, the practical actions similarly carry fundamental weight. The vibrational pattern prepares the solid base, yet you continue needing to possess the courage to take action. If an opening surges along your journey, you necessitate to possess the valor to explore it authentically. If a conception sprouts regarding how to increase your income or to amplify your income sources, you have to find yourself prepared to carry it out with decision. Murphy called this aligned action, and it remained absolutely critical. It forms the attitude that sprouts naturally after your vibrational pattern has transformed to fullness. This attitude reveals itself substantially dissimilar from the desperate attitude founded in anxiety. It is action that is resolute, clear, instinctive, and exact. Murphy observed that once his clients preserved the correct vibration and behaved systematically in harmony with this frequency, the doors unfolded in multiple ways that previously had the appearance of completely impractical or practically miraculous. The trajectory that the Professor Murphy presented was fundamentally a way of true emancipation and radical. It was not dodging from real challenges. It constituted facing the real situation, that you were programmed by ancestral transmitted frequency and deciding attentively and with strength to change this resonance completely. It was understanding that you carry exceptional potency not merely to modify your own living, but to alter the entire journey and future horizon of all your family heritage. This knowledge represents true power in its purest expression. Not that capacity just to conquer or to defeat opponents. However, the real power to metamorphose resonance, to transcend ancestral restrictions. This truth, Murphy professed with absolute certainty, represents the true liberation which is material and holy that all beings searches for.